Anyway, the point is, welcome everybody. I'm here with
the person who snaps, you have the center, and then they snap it to the.
yeah.
Usually that's
It's
the quarterback. That's just the quarterback, isn't it?
no, I think it's the place, not the person who throws. I mean, holds for a kick. I think it is called the.
I don't know.
Anyway, the point is, hi everybody.
Whatever.
I'm here with Ohio Congressman Greg Landsman, represents the district down in Cincinnati. And Greg, I'm going to have a mix of tough questions and abject ridiculousness for you, if that's okay.
Great. That's perfect.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, someone said a holder. Yeah, I said placeholder, but I don't know if that's just a placeholder. Anyway,
Oh, is it just a holder? Just the holder?
it may just be called a holder.
Yeah.
It's either way. Yeah, obviously, huge money position. It's a big
Big
deal.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So today is State of the Union. And obviously the State of the Union is mainly confusion, depression. I think that's the State of the Union. But I want to ask you a few questions about your district first.
Sure.
The first question is, you represent Cincinnati. Defend Skyline Chili.
Oh, I mean, one, it's a sweet chili, which people like. And we just happen to put it on noodles with a lot of cheese. I mean, that's I don't like, why wouldn't you like that? Do you know what I mean? The part with the hot dog, I get, like, it's, although you put relish on a hot dog, why not put chili? And that's just a chili dog, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Okay, fair. Another Ohio question for you.
By the way, just kind of one thing about Skyline. You have
Yeah.
to, and no pun intended when I say it's baked in, but all of our memories, like our family member, it's Skyline. So, like, it's a
Oh,
huge part of, like, growing up and where you go to eat and, like, that your, like, your favorite memories. Like, my dad and I would have, when I started getting, older, and I'd go out on the weekends in high school and college, I just, maybe mostly it was, like, I guess high school. We would always every Saturday try to have lunch at Skyline.
okay. So you have an iron stomach then. You have
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. Yeah, I guess it's the nostalgia for
It's
people who
it's
are from
it's
there.
it's really baked into the whole thing. Like, you walk in, you're like, "Ah, family, home."
When I tour and people recommend places, I always have to be careful of like, is this good or were you 8 years old?
Exactly.
Like, which of the two? Okay. Another Ohio question for you. And this is something that, like, literally, my wife is from the Columbus area, and I still don't understand what is with the in Ohio State University, in
I
the
don't
Ohio State
I
University.
that I yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was sort of like, "Look, we're a big deal. You don't treat us like a big deal, and so we're gonna sort of, rebrand a little bit by saying 'the' as a way of, like, kinda, I don't know, flexing a little bit, like, we're
Yeah.
the Ohio State Uni, because otherwise you're not giving us the kind of, uh, you know,
Gravitas.
that we deserve. Maybe that was it. I don't know.
And I understand that your district is more, UC and Xavier, but I always wondered, like, how does the Ohio State University have satellite campuses? Because then they're not they're
They're part of the.
yeah,
Mm.
they're a part of the. It's very confusing. Okay, one more Ohio question. This one's a very tough one. And specifically for the general area that you were in, have you ever seen someone eat a cat or a dog?
No. No.
What,
That was so absurd. I mean, it really, just, Springfield is about 60,000 people.
yeah,
20 to 30,000 are Haitian, uh, you know, um, born, and they're such a huge part of the community. It was, just so offensive to that community in particular.
yeah.
The whole community.
I think it's amazing that MAGA can keep up with all of the different immigrant communities that they seem to hate.
Yeah.
Because first it was cats and dogs with Haitian. Well, not first. I mean, there's been
So what
hundreds,
a what
but
a like what a like a remarkable thing to believe. Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? That they thought that was true.
yeah. There were people who there are certainly people who are at the top of that who are being like, we are going to further this myth in order to achieve our end goals, which is, divisiveness and fear. And then there were people who genuinely were like, well, if they say it,
I guess
then
they're
it
being
must be
cats and
true.
dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is absolutely wild. And thank you for going with me on that because I am actually going to ask you a genuinely tough question. And then we're going to get into the State of the Union stuff. So, I am a fellow Jewish person. I have family that lives in Israel, nuclear family, and cousins that I'm close to. I also think that what Netanyahu is doing is a war crime. And I know that you have taken money from APAC. How do you rectify being progressive with that?
So it's a great question. I mean, like, a lot of my progressiveness comes from my Jewish faith, right? So it's like a huge part of who I am. And, the central to my Judaism, and I think this is true for most Jews, which is this idea of tikkun olam, which is like heal the world, go out and do as much redeeming of the world as you possibly can, do as much good. And I have lots of tattoos. One of the tattoos that I have that is scripture is from Micah 6:8, do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with God, which is the only time in scripture and in Torah where somebody says, like, what is it that we're supposed to do? And God answers directly. So that is
Yeah.
me, like, core to who I am. And that connects me to the larger Jewish people, which includes, folks in Israel.
And wait, let me
Uh,
pause for a second because there's someone in the chat who is making their decision before you even answer this question. So it is a tough question, but let him answer before you decide on what he's about to say.
yeah. So I, for so there's that piece, which is my connection
Yeah.
to the people. There is also, like, I'm a big national security guy, so I believe really strongly that in order to have peace, like, you have to have really strong, uh, you have to take national security really seriously. And there's no other partner that we get more intelligence, actionable, meaningful national security intelligence from than the state of Israel. Like, they're our number one partner. I mean, they rival Europe in terms of how significant the partnership is. Uh, and then, like, it is a liberal democracy in the middle of the Middle East. Total everyone votes. Everyone has reproductive freedom. It's one of the largest pride events in the world in Tel Aviv. It's just, like, unbelievable. They have universal preschool, like two
Well,
years of life preschool.
I'm gonna cut in for a second,
Yeah.
and I'm not questioning the idea of Israel as a country. I think Israel as a country is an important thing. Um, what I am pushing back on is Netanyahu and Likud are extremely far right. They are not only far right, but he has been brought up on corruption charges. He lost power for a while because of that. And what I'm saying is, if he is their Trump, how can we look at that and still see aligning with his government as anything other than regressive?
We're aligning and with the partnership with the state and the people. Like, think about it in the reverse.
Okay.
Okay, let's say all these people who hate Trump, they just back out of everything American. You would hate that.
Okay.
You wouldn't
That's a
want.
fair answer.
Yeah.
That's a fair
So
answer.
so like, uh, I I I I don't think, because it is a liberal democracy, like, they have elections this year.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that this group gets voted out. Like, and I don't want us to abandon the larger partnership, just like I would never want anyone to abandon their relationship with us because of Trump.
That is the first decent answer I've heard on that, and I appreciate that. I disagree with you on some of it, but
It's okay.
I do
Yeah.
appreciate you be willing to answer what is a tough question. All right, let's talk State of the Union now. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to do a little predictions here.
Yeah.
All right. The over under or my over under on how many times President Trump will mention Joe Biden, someone
Yeah,
who has not been in office for over a year.
7,000.
Um, it's 7,000. Wow, my over under was going to be seven, so you're going the over.
Oh, I'll take the over.
All right,
I'll
how
take the
many?
over.
What do you think? Predict it.
I mean, he's gonna have to talk about Biden a lot. Like he has these go to sort of like boogeyman. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah,
Um, and Joe Biden is like top of the list.
yeah.
Like, is there anyone that he thinks is better to sort of mess with than Joe Biden?
I
Other than like immigrants.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's like Joe Biden is an immigrant from Delaware.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is wild to me that he keeps insisting that this is Joe Biden's economy right now.
I think that the rumor is that he's going to speak for 2 to 3 hours. And I
No,
was telling my wife, I think the reason he's doing this is because he's convinced that it's still about him and Joe Biden. That the issue with Joe Biden and the reason why everyone got frustrated with Joe Biden's economy and America was because Joe Biden was old and he couldn't really like handle the job and he didn't have the stamina. And when Trump did the New York Times interview, he obsessed about the fact that he was like he could do 2 hours. Joe Biden could never do 2 hours. I think he's going to do 2 to 3 hours tonight because he thinks that's what's going to help him. Like the American people are going to be, oh my God, he's so cool. Like he's got so much stamina. I was wrong. I
yeah,
think that's his play.
yeah. So yeah, the really what you look for in a president is the ability to ramble for a long time. That's really what makes someone a hero.
Right. That's what's going to
Um,
get your utility bill down. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna get to that also because, I would like to quiz you quickly on which of the following will he lie about,
Yeah.
okay? Will he lie about gas prices?
Yes.
Okay. Will he lie about grocery prices?
Yes.
All right. Will he lie about insurance prices?
Yes.
All right. Will he
What?
lie about utility prices?
Yes.
Will he lie about toupee prices?
Probably not.
All right, 4 out of 5. Okay.
Do you think it's a
Um,
toupee? You don't think it's just like
I
plugs?
actually think it's a house cat. But
Yeah.
I think it's a very scared, very old house cat.
Yeah, and it's just like it's locked in. It's been doing it for years.
He's like, "They're eating the cats."
He's like, I'm not getting that down from here.
That's why he was so upset about it. They were worried that someone was gonna eat his hair.
I know.
Okay, what do you think is and this is I'd like to see this in the chat also. What will be the most outlandish lie that he will tell?
I mean, I think the big one is that he's obsessed about the 2020 election, and he's gonna make the lie. He's gonna double down or triple down, or he's just gonna he continues to obsess over this election, and it's part of his attempt to steal the next one. So I
Yeah.
think the biggest lie is that he won the 2020 election. He's never gotten over it. He can't stomach the idea that he lost, and he wants people to join him again on a crazy, chaotic ride to stealing the next election.
Yeah, by the way, I like, some of the comments that people are putting as guesses. Mitch Gerwitz said, "The biggest lie will be that he's doing a great job." Craig
Well, yeah, I mean,
Rasmus
look, he'll lie. He'll say that the affordability crisis is over. And he'll lie and say that he's ended, a thousand wars, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I
he'll
love
lie.
whenever
Yeah,
anybody makes the claim of like, "He's ended 8 wars," I just go, "Name them."
yeah.
If you know the number specifically,
That's right.
tell
It's
us
just
which
such
ones.
it's such an incredible sort of thing. Like, what were the 8 wars?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, I guess
they
we're making the same point. It's like nobody. I mean, he's gonna lie about Venezuela. I don't know what the lie will be, but he'll make something up. I'm sure he'll lie about Greenland.
yes. Yeah,
Uh,
he'll, but also as the future recipient of the Chick-fil-A Nobel Prize, I think that, we do need to listen to some of what he's saying. And speaking of lies, do you think he is going to mention the Epstein files? And if so, how will he blame them on Democrats?
I mean, so I saw some of my colleagues have released the file pin, or released the files pins,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of them will have it. I suspect somebody will tell him, "Hey, Mr. President, some of these folks will have it on." he may just not be able to help himself. He should not talk about it. Or
Yeah.
he should say, I am going to release it all. Like, we're just redacting. I mean, he should just try to like do the right thing, clean this up, get it out the door, and see if he can put it behind him. He won't do that. And
I just want to point out that you just said he should do the right thing, and that's
yeah, he's not going
yeah,
to do that. He's not going to do that. I mean, he may say something to the effect of like, we did it,
yeah,
and look, Bill Clinton and these other Democrats, but I I don't know. I think it's a loser for him until he does the right thing, which I guess he can't because I think he's in. I mean, I think he's. Well, we know he is. We know he's mentioned
yeah.
like thousands of times. So
Well, and not only that, but the biggest argument that's coming from the right now is his call to the police. Except his call to the police came after Epstein was already arrested.
yeah.
And in his call to the police, he said that he knew what was going on. So in that call, he is admitting that he knew what was happening and did nothing about it and still stayed in close contact with him.
I when this first came, when this first sort of emerged again as a big issue, in the past year, I remember saying, look, it's the cover up that's always worse than the crime. In this case, the crime may be worse.
Yeah,
That's what's so crazy. Like, and I still believe that. I mean, that the cover up has been obviously a disaster for him politically and for Republicans because they're standing behind him,
yeah.
standing with him. They're protecting, these sexual predators and the people who help them. Um, but I do wonder if the crime ultimately, whatever, his involvement was, is just way worse than any cover up. And
Yeah,
that's why this is such a potent issue. Also, the fact that they're all so super, ridiculously wealthy. The name of the documentary, the Epstein documentary, is called Filthy Rich. If you
yeah,
haven't seen it, like, it's such a good documentary. It was years ago, but like that's a very important title, Filthy Rich, because one of the reasons why I think this is so important for Americans is like they see this economy. Most people are struggling, and then you have the filthy rich, and the filthy
yeah.
rich can do whatever they want. They get whatever they want, and you know that's what seems to be the case with the Epstein files.
Yeah, and there's a story, I forget the guy's name now, but there is this story that like in I think it was like early 1900s New York, there was this like very high society kidnapping and murder, and it was this crazy story, and it turned out it was all perpetuated by these like rich, very mentally disturbed people.
Yeah.
And it's because they were raised in a way where they could never commit a crime because it would always be not considered a crime.
Huh.
And I always think back to that story. I wish I remember the names now. The guy was like I think he was like a railroad baron from Pittsburgh. But when people have no accountability,
Bad
like
things happen.
and if you give someone, there are plenty of mentally ill people in society. And when you give one of them $10 billion, that can cause problems.
Probably not going to end well.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming on here. I
Anytime.
know that, and I've been joking around about some of the stuff, but I do think that I would bet that the biggest disconnect tonight is I think he is going to prattle on about how great the economy is. Ignore. Someone just asked if it was Andrew Carnegie. No, it was not Andrew Carnegie that was that
You
kidnapped and
said
murdered
railroad. I
somebody.
think well, what is was Carnegie the
Carnegie was Steele. Yeah.
deal?
Yeah,
Steel.
Carnegie is the reason Pittsburgh has, like, tons of libraries.
Right,
Actually,
Carnegie was steel, and then who was railroad? Who was
uh, well, there were a bunch. It wasn't
I
like
watched this the other day. The
it was not someone that, like, we've all learned about in school. It
okay.
was, it was like a minor robber baron. But anyway, point is, I think the biggest disconnect tonight is going to be that he is going to prattle on about how great the economy is, and This is someone who doesn't understand that people still use the word groceries. And the average person has got to look at that and look at their bills and go, this simply isn't true.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. He'll talk about the stock market. He'll talk about, you know, I don't know. He'll obsess about the tariffs. He'll obsess about the election. He'll obsess about his political enemies. This is my, and sort of my sort of overall thought on this whole thing, which is
mhm,
it's really frustrating, for me or anyone who like grew up watching State of the Unions and knowing how substantive and serious they were. Both parties, like it was a serious speech. And it was a speech where people were honest about where we were and where we had to go. And the president would lay out all of the things that needed to get done. And then the next day they would submit to Congress, like all of the bills. They literally had it
yeah,
organized. And then Congress would work on those bills, and the president would go travel all over the country to sell those ideas. And I watched throughout the 90s growing up each one of Bill Clinton's State of the Union speeches. I watched in the aughts with Bush, and I remember like they were always. I learned so much,
yeah,
and now with this guy, it's just this this really old guy who's going to go up there and rant and just say the crazy stuff for a couple hours, pick a fight with the crowd, and then leave. Like,
yeah.
what a disservice to the country. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, it is. It is not actually the State of the Union. It is not. He's not going to be up there making a case for any change. He is going to be up there just with this self-congratulatory garbage, despite having the lowest approval rating of any president in history now. Which, by the way, congratulations. It's I
Yeah.
think one of the only things that he actually is good at.
But I would love
Um,
to see the next president of the United States really lean into, the stuff that we need that we've never had, and then the things that we've had that we need again. And I think having a serious leader that lays out the challenges in an honest way and then builds the case for how to fix it and then builds a coalition to fix it, that's served us well in the past. Like I want to see the next president do that.
I would love to see that. And in 2020, I was a big Elizabeth Warren guy. And part of why I like Warren so much is because she is a policy person. She is someone who goes, not only is this what we need to do, but here's how to actually do it. I don't think, I mean, now we're at the point where she's, the same around the same age as them. And
Yeah.
I am an ageist in two ways. I will not vote for an 18-year-old for president, and I will not vote for an 80-year-old for president. But I would love to see someone who has that sort of background, who has the background of policy, be in that position so that they can actually
Yeah.
get something done.
Policy with like the sort of fight, right?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. The understand it's I'm tired of candidates who are, I call them Coke machine in the cafeteria candidates.
Yeah.
People who promise something that is absolutely impossible and then have no plans on how to do it. And so I'd like to see someone with fight, but also I would like to see someone who understands how the system actually works.
Correct. Because it ultimately, my crew has to be really good at getting things done. Like that's
Yeah.
what we have to like lean into. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, thank you so much. Is there
Thank
anything
you.
that you wanna tell people to, how can people who are watching help change things, help move things forward?
I mean, like it's the question that we get everywhere we go, right? Like, and because people are anxious and the State of the Union, as you said, is like frustrated and worried, and I think the key is build your community, just build it as big as possible.
Mhm,
Organize, just organize, organize, organize. Like lean into the democratic parts of this where you're just, it's registering people to vote, making sure their registration is accurate. I mean, just building as much power around you as possible, and getting involved in as many things as you can. But to me, And somebody mentioned this, a constituent of mine said, like, in a crisis, you want to have as many people around you as possible, right?
Yeah,
To help you through the crisis. That's the answer, which is go build your community, like build it big.
that's great. And Justin in the chat just said 5 calls app. Absolutely agree
Yeah,
with that.
exactly. But
Yeah,
you know, try to do it with, like a group, and then just keep building that group.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And everything starts changing at the local level first.
yeah.
And people keep ignoring the local level. Sarah P just asked the quote frame behind your head. It says, "Don't give up the ship."
All right, and then I got to go. But let me tell you,
Yeah,
there was a period of time I had gotten elected to city council in Cincinnati. I was a couple years in, and I just wasn't sure. And I had done a ballot measure where we passed preschool for 3 and 4 year olds. It was a huge ballot measure, and
yeah,
I thought, I want to get out of elected politics. I think it's pretty messy,
yeah,
and maybe I'll just go and do ballot measures. And I went to see my political mentor, who was a federal judge, and I thought he was going to say, like, no problem, like, go. You can, like, there's so many ways to have an impact. And I was looking for that because I was ready. I wanted to be done.
yeah.
And he said, don't give up the ship. And
Oh,
you can't leave. Like, you can't go. Like, politics needs really good people, and you got to stick it out. You got to stay. And every time you're ready to aim, like, fire, go big. And so when I won, when I got elected to Congress, he sent that to me. Now I framed it was like a $20 thing on Amazon, but it was a nice reminder. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, he
And
said it years
yeah.
ago.
And for anyone in the chat, that's before we knew Amazon was evil.
Oh,
So
years ago. But
yeah,
in any event, I think it's a nice sort of reminder in this moment. Like, he doesn't Trump and the big tech folks and the billionaires, they don't get this.
yeah.
They don't get to have it. Like, we're not giving up the ship.
Yeah, it's the same reason why I post to Facebook all the time, despite so many of the comments being herp derp derp. It's because you don't cede ground.
Yeah.
So I know
Don't
you
do
got to
that.
go, and you've already given us so much time, and I really appreciate that. And thanks for being frank with the tough questions and silly with the silly ones.
Yeah, of course.
I wish you luck with
Thanks.
whatever garbage is being said tonight, and all the best to you. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. All right. See ya.